This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stock Box interview.
Well, joining us today again for the second time this week is Jason Brewer, the CEO of Marula Mining, following news that the company has identified two major graphite trends at the Bagamoyo Graphite project in Tanzania in a successful Phase 1 program of exploration activities. The Mihuga and the Sadan South graphite prospects have shown large flake sizes visibly observed and now quantified by an accredited laboratory in Tanzania. So hello, Jason. Welcome back. How are you doing?
I'm very good, Mark. It's always good to be back, although I didn't expect to be on so quickly.
Indeed, I know. And we've got a couple, again, announcements to talk about, just like we did earlier in the week. So, I mean, first of all, what is the significance of identifying these two major graphite trends at the Bagamoyo project?
Look, it's great to have done this, and Geofields, our geoscience consultants, have done a great job from their mapping, sampling work which they undertook. What it now allows us to do is actually focus on these key mineralized trends, which are open. So we've already identified that it extends over 2.5 kilometers. We can now focus on key areas. And with that Bagamoyo project, as you may recall, we had 22 mining licenses within that project. That's an awful lot to manage and go through and so on. Now that we've had these two trends there, Mihuga and Sudan South, we can now really focus the next phase of work, the more detailed drilling, the more detailed trenching, to really define a project that we can then take forward towards the various feasibility studies and development activities.
Excellent. Well, of course, Geofields has recommended further work, haven't they? Including securing strike extensions to the southwest and the north, completion of IP surveys to test the northeast extension targets, and more ground geophysical surveys to explore the graphite targets at depth. So, I mean, you're planning on commencing this in H2 of 2023. I mean, are you well on the way with planning this, and how are the results here going to impact the next phase of exploration at Bagamoyo?
Yeah, look, they've provided us with, as part of that Phase 1 program, they did a very detailed geological database. That's now being used by us with Geofields to really do this planning. Those extensions that you talk about, which extend onto adjoining licenses, we're in discussions with our partner, Kusini Gateway, to basically bring those into the project. So we're kind of juggling those licenses at the moment. There's ones which clearly fall outside of the kind of area of focus. So we're going to kind of push them out. But then there's others now that we're pushing in. So I think that's a key area. But with Geofields now, yes, it's planning that next phase of drilling work, trenching work. They've recommended those IP surveys because their expression is this is lighting up. At Mihuga, for instance, that's where, and people can see this on our social media platforms, that's where you've got this 500-meter strike surface exposure where you can literally go down into the soil, rub your hands, and you've got graphite on your hands. So it's a very obvious target. And now we need to extend that through this next phase of work. So exciting times. And, you know, we're going to be certainly working Geofields quite hard over the rest of this quarter and well into the second half of the year.
Okay, excellent. So we can look forward to seeing some activity on the ground there at Bagamoyo in H2 of this year. That's good news. Now, I notice you said in the RNS, with granted mining licenses that are contiguous to an operating and exploring graphite mine at the Kwamsisi and close to many other advanced exploration projects held by listed companies in the UK and Australia. So what is the potential of the Bagamoyo Graphite project? And do you think that the other operators in the area make a very good comparison to what you've got?
The opportunities there are very significant. I mean, this is a proven graphite district. And to have an adjoining mine, which was built by a Tanzanian national, I've visited it. I've seen the open pit that they're mining from. I've seen their processing plant. I've seen the bagged materials Actually, when we last went to Bagamoyo, we were stuck behind a whole convoy of trucks carrying this material out towards Dar. So, when you can see an existing operation there, that was a relatively small scale operation. But when you see that, again, a word you mentioned the other day, it gives you that confidence that actually this is real. But it's underdeveloped, underexplored. And there's really, there's not as many companies there as there should be. So we're not necessarily first mover, excuse me, but we're in a damn good position. So seeing that local operation there, which is now being run by a Chinese group, seeing ASX listed Ecograph that have been actively looking at their project here for a fair few years. Andrew Spink's a good friend of mine who heads up Ecograph. When you see those established companies in the area as well, it gives you that confidence of the ability to move forward. They're operating, some of these Australian, even London listed companies, they're operating under prospecting licenses. So from a licensing point of view, we're already a few steps ahead of them. So we've got that ability to move forward a bit quicker and benefit from all the hard graft that these guys have done over the years in really proving that this is a great district to be in.
Excellent. Just thinking on the activities that the company have got, you're effectively going to have 3 exploration programs underway. You've got Kinusi, you've got Nyori, and now Bagamoyo all taking part this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And unashamedly so. I mean, and we've got the capital to manage them. Capital from both, obviously, the funding side, but the human capital, which is probably more critical. How can you really, people will be saying, how can you realistically run 3 programs in parallel at any one time? And you've got to remember as well, at Kinusi, we're moving into production.
Indeed.
So you've got Kinusi. Let's take a step back. Blesberg on the lithium, you've got production and exploration, obviously on the hard rock lithium mine there. Kinusi, similar thing. You've got the exploration and the small scale mining activities, processing activities. And then Nyori and Bagamoyo, the 2 graphite projects, 2 exploration programs there. Yeah. We have the resources, both from a management perspective, general manager for East Africa, COO, myself, plus local geologists on the ground, plus groups such as Geofields. And remember, Geofields collectively have got over 50 years of experience in Tanzania. So we're not bringing in an expat geological group out of South Africa or the UK. We've got people that understand this place and themselves have the resources and capabilities to support our ambitious growth plans. Let's call it that. So, no, I'm very confident that going forward, we'll be able to deliver. It certainly means my time is going to be more precious, obviously. But as people would have seen, we're very driven, very, very focused in making this a success. So, yes, a lot of work happening. All well-funded, and I think that's important for investors to know, well-funded and with credible management and supporting consultants to be able to take this forward.
Well, it certainly seems like there's going to be not a shortage of news flow this year. 2 pure exploration projects there, 2 exploration and production, of course, Kinusi, and of course, Blesberg. News today that you have actually secured new mobile mining equipment through your partnership there with Q Global Commodities. $1.2 million worth of equipment, lots of things arriving, excavators, backhoes, wheel loaders, dump trucks. And the plan really, as you said in the RNS, is to more than double the company's capacity to mine the stockpile material and commence activities on the underlying hard rock resources. So this is quite significant news, Jason, talking about doubling. The activities really ramping up on site there and scheduled to happen this month.
Yeah, look, I think when I first mentioned or introduced that QGC transaction, I always said it was more than just capital from them. It was that broader relationship and so on. So straight away, this equipment has come about. We've been able to secure it through their relationships with one of the biggest mining equipment suppliers in South Africa. And we've been able to secure it on attractive terms, far more attractive than we would have been able to secure in our own right, but also on attractive delivery terms. Again, a lot of this equipment, the lead times to secure it, to get it to site. So we've certainly benefited it from that perspective. we've always wanted to be able to move the stockpiles quickly so we can focus on the hard rock operation, which is underlying it, focusing on it from a mine planning, but also from a drill out. So we've had these stockpiles, this 250 up to 400,000 tons of stockpile material lies atop the underlying pegmatites, which is the Numus 1 and Numus 2. We need to get that out of the way so we can actually get into the longer term hard rock operation. QGC are very keen to do that. When they did their due diligence on us, and particularly on Blesberg, they see the long-term potential there of this lithium mine. And they were, very pleased with the retreatment of the stockpile material, but their key goal was to see us move quickly into, like I say, the more conventional open cast mining operations. That's what this allows us to do. Get those stockpile tons moved, ready for the reprocessing of the spodumene, which we're getting out, but more importantly, allow us to really get into the hard rock resources.
And are you finding then that your partner here, Q Global, is really taking the lead here and pushing on with what they want to get out of the project?
Look, I think they're a great partner. There's no question about that. And it's a partnership which I think is going to go from strength to strength. I was with Quinton in South Africa last week. I was with his whole acquisitions team, the team that we work very closely with on Blesberg. And their commitment to us is second to none. As I think we said, we are their only listed investment. And Quinton will be joining the board once we get that AIM listing away. So they are working as fast as we are to make this happen. And, when I do need a push, it's great to have them behind me. That's for sure, or beside me, I should say. A great partnership. And like I say, one which, this is one of the first real public signals of that. And I'm sure there's going to be many more that we'll be releasing in the near future. But yes, they're great to have on board. And I'm very pleased that, here at Blesberg, it's already going to be demonstrated as that equipment starts to arrive this month, as you've said.
Excellent. Well, it's good to see that. I'm sure investors will be very keen to see that the progress there is definitely ramping up and more equipment arriving on site. Anything you can share with regards to how the offtake are going? And are you still waiting on some of those assays to come back to give reassurance to the offtake partners of the quality of the...
We've got a very detailed update to come out on Blesberg, which will touch on both the obviously the sampling programs which have been underway, sampling for existing off-takers, sampling for future off-takers. But in particular, the update is going to be focused on where that operation is going to go in terms of what it's going to be producing, production rates of both the spodumene and other value-added, higher-value lithium products. So that announcement, that's everything. Blesberg's been a moving feast, to have such an advanced lithium asset as Blesberg in the current market, where critical metals, lithium in particular, is getting such attention. It's a double-edged sword, I tell you. It's great on one hand, but then you're faced with so many opportunities. And if somebody could come and look in my inbox and see all the emails from various groups that want to get involved in both taking product, assisting us along the way, here, and here. It's a lot of work, and we want to maximize that value there. So we've been doing an incredible amount of work with the team at QGC in particular to see how we're going to get best value out of Blesberg. And we're pretty much there. This RNS is going to be one of the better ones I think we've prepared. And I think we've put out some damn good ones over the past several months. But yeah, Blesberg is a great asset, and it's one of the core assets as we move this company forward. And as such, we've had to make sure that how we take it forward is done in the best possible way. So that's why things have taken a bit longer. That's why there's been a lot of deliberation, a lot of analysis, a lot of numbers thrown around, and how we've got to this point in time now. So I think shareholders are clearly waiting for an announcement out on that, and I don't believe they're going to be disappointed. So it'll be well received, I'm sure.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Jason. I'm sure we'll be speaking on that. I don't know when, but maybe shortly after Easter. But thank you very much for that very comprehensive update today. And I'm sure it won't be long until we're talking again. Jason Brewer, the CEO of Marula Mining, thank you very much for your time.
Mark, thanks as always. Cheers.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programs at stockboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.